Hey everybody, Phil Easy here. It's getting later in the season. It's now September 2nd, and I've had a bunch of questions coming my way about what do I do this time of year with some of the different vegetables? How do I help prolong the harvest? How do I help the harvest finish? All those sorts of questions. So today I'm going to take you through some of the tips and tricks for what to do with your vegetables, some of your crops, tomatoes, cucumbers. We'll take a peek at the peppers. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and smash the thumbs up. Let's go. So let's start with the cucumbers. They did really well this year, but my big learning and lesson was about the ropes I used. They are not the right thing to do. Kind of glad it happened with all these vines. They kept collapsing and falling, and I've had to tie them up and just try to make it work. So lesson learned, I'll be doing a cage technique next year, fencing. I'll use some fencing. I'll show you guys that when I start setting it up. But yeah, let's start with these cucumbers. So we still have lots of good growth happening. If you look up top here, you can see even the flowering's happening. I've seen some bees in here. So I'm going to keep the crop going as long as I can until it gets too cold. I don't plan on heating the hoop house. So the first thing I come after here when I'm looking around is I notice some of the cucumbers I missed. Here's one that's clearly gone yellow. This we wouldn't be eating. It's creating a lot of weight, and it's taken away some of the energy still of the plant. So I'm gonna go through all the different plants here, and I'm gonna pull out all the cucumbers that are past. They sometimes are hidden in there, sometimes I get lazy, combination of both. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prune off, as you can see here with the scissors, any growth that's dying back, yellowing. Might as well get rid of that. One of the good reasons for that is powdery mildew and other fungus and things can set in, and if we remove any of the dying stuff, it doesn't give those funguses and things as much chance to take hold. It also helps improve the airflow through the vines. As it starts to get cooler at night, this will become more important. So I'm just going to go through and prune aggressively, bottom up, all the ones that are dying or aging. Another thing I learned about the cucumbers with them failing and falling and collapsing many times is cucumbers can take a lot more of a beating than I thought. So these vines, and even if you take a look down close here, look at what's happened. It collapsed upon itself. I wasn't able to get it fully strung back up. It folded, but it still continued to grow up and up and up, and is still, in the process of producing cucumbers up top here. So that's kind of a really cool lesson to learn, again, from something that was negative happening, but now I know, and now you know. I will also go after any suckers that are still coming out, ones that I've missed. I'm seeing a few lower down on the plants here. So I'll just take those out. Really aggressive pruning this time of year. There's only so many more weeks depending on when you get your frost. We get it usually September, a couple weeks in, maybe early October if we're super lucky. When it comes to tomato plants, they're very similar to the cucumbers. They're both vining varieties that I'm using. So I go after any of the lower leaves at this point. I'm going to trim them right up to the level of the lowest fruit. That's my bare minimum, is to get them up to that level. Gotta be a little bit careful. Sometimes they're supporting the fruit. But the idea is going to be to clear out a lot of this lower foliage, because this will increase the chances of dampness in here. There's not as much airflow, which these are the conditions that encourage the disease and some of the different problems you can have with your tomatoes as you get further into your season. So as the nights get cooler, just like with the cucumbers, that increases our chances of mold, fungus, things like that setting in, which we don't want because then our crop can be spoiled. What I'm doing here though is removing all the extra low growth, not only for the airflow advantage, but it's also going to be because there's not a lot of energy needed to promote the growth down here anymore. So I'm bringing everything up, leaving all these other tomatoes down on the bottom to ripen. But that's the idea, is that we trim everything up, increase the airflow, allow these to ripen. We'll monitor for frost. If frost comes, then we do have to pull these off. If they're green, then that can be dealt with. I'll likely have some, and I'll take you guys through this. But that's a really quick on what I'm doing with the tomatoes. Same with the cucumbers. As I go up the plant, if I find any suckers or any extra growth coming out, or I haven't cut the top off, that will be happening now. But that's it for the tomatoes. Really simple and quick, but be ruthless. Trim away a lot of that extra stuff happening lower down on the plant, and any of those yellowing or leaves that just aren't looking that healthy anymore. Lessons learned with the tomatoes this year weren't too many, but the big one was mulch. I put on that thick layer of wood chips. I'm really happy about what that does. I think it helped with moisture retention, and I didn't get any of this splitting. I usually used to get on the bottom of the tomatoes, they'd split. And I think it's because I had to water so frequently, so much, because I didn't mulch and it was drying out so often, and that watering drying cycle led to some splitting of tomatoes. So yeah, just a really cool lesson to learn there. So when it came to the peppers, they did really well. I'm still quite happy with the technique of pruning them early in their life and letting them branch into more of a bush-shaped form. Some of these are quite loaded in terms of the number of peppers on them. So I'm really happy with that. Healthy growth, everything good. Mulch again, I think makes a huge difference. And that's the same with the cucumbers, the whole greenhouse. Mulch, mulch, mulch. Here's the end result. Didn't really prune anything, didn't need to prune anything with the peppers. But when it came to cucumbers and tomatoes, my gosh, did we ever prune a bunch. But take a look at the end result. There's a bunch of the stuff. But as you can see, we've got a lot of good tomatoes ready to can and do what we do with them. Cucumbers, similar idea. When I get down low, you're going to see I pruned everything out pretty much from below them. Here's another view of the cucumbers. A lot of the debris, there's some extras that I pulled off that had started yellowing. This gives you an idea of just how much I actually did remove of the vines here. At least 2 foot to 2 feet up. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the notification bell, subscribe, smash the thumbs up, and take care. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Aye.